I'll be honest. This entire year was just a huge gut punch for me. I hated 2023. There were very few enjoyable moments for me throughout the entirety of this godforsaken year. I'd like to say it isn't any person's fault as to this year being terrible, but more specifically the circumstances of this year that led me to my misfortunes. And if I have learned anything throughout my depressingly lengthening life so far, I am probably the most susceptible person on the planet to being a victim of circumstance. Does it suck? Absolutely. Can I do anything about it? In theory, yes. But actually going about executing that, well, suddenly becomes an insurmountable task of astronomical proportion. But don't worry, we'll be going over everything soon enough. Let's tear 2023 a new one. I can't believe I have to say this, but I had little to no positive experiences this year. My theme of breaking out of my shell has completely failed despite asking literally everyone I know for help. I have met no one and made no friends. There's some girl I matched with, but we have nothing in common and I get the feeling I'm going to be getting ghosted any day. All I can really do is make small talk, and I hate small talk. Every attempt I made to stand out and become more bold has led to me becoming more overshadowed, forgotten, and ignored. Well, okay, so there's no progress for my social life, but surely something good has to have happened to me, right? Ha! Nope! I left my job at Domino's to become a direct salesperson for a contracting company. That lasted all of about a month or two when I realized how my social anxiety makes approaching people impossible. The work environment was super positive and I love my coworkers, but my disability and introverted nature made doing the job absolutely impossible. So I left that and was left without a job for a while, causing me to have to eat into my savings to survive. Hooray! There go my hopes for traveling in the future. As if that weren't enough, I had to move back in with my parents for several months due to issues with Nate's house, where I currently live. Those were some of the most terrible months of my life for a variety of reasons. I went to bartending school in hopes I could land a bartending job, but nope, can't land one of those either for whatever reason. A bartending job would make it so I would be able to talk to people and potentially make friends, so the world can't let me have that. So the only path that opened was becoming an Uber driver, and I'm still stuck on this stupid path. And I've grown a newfound hatred of driving because of it. In short, I hate the life I am living at the moment. Okay, well, no progress finding a way forward in life socially or financially. What about my friends? Sure, I had plenty of time to hang out and have fun with them, yes? Yeah, I wish that was the case. I did manage to meet up with my inner circle a few times this year, but I can't say for certain that I had much fun. The biggest issue was that since I'm one of the only two drivers in my circle, I often have to end up being the one driving passengers all over during our meetups, so much of the time it doesn't feel too different from work. And when we have a lot of group outings planned and everyone lives in a different part of Florida, this amounts to many more hours of driving that I'd like to put up with. There are lots of other things I'd like to say too, but those thoughts are best kept to myself. Regardless, there were some things I enjoyed about the few times we got to meet up this year, but all the costs, driving, and other minor things that happened to interfere with the trip took most of the fun out of it for me. Well, what else do I have to say about the majority of the year? Nothing much. That's it. I had so little enjoyment of the year that I would be more happy if I could somehow unlive this year. Things didn't even improve during something that always makes me feel better this year. Going to an anime convention. Yeah, on the last day of Holiday Matsuri, I didn't have any fun. I had to sacrifice a time slot for a Proton John panel in case I would have been called as a finalist to the voice acting competition. In short, I wasn't a finalist or even acknowledged, and I wasted my time to end up being disappointed. I've always had fun at least a little every day I've been to a convention, but not for the last day. My one goal was to make a friend at the convention, and I failed. Somehow, I've left there on the last day feeling more alone than when I arrived there by myself on the first day. There aren't many feelings that I hate more than the overwhelming hopelessness of being left alone to a point like that. At the end of the year, though, there was a small silver lining. One thing that gives me hope for my remaining youth before the dreaded age of 30. A tarot reading. I saw a fortune teller on the last day of the convention and was presented with the Eight of Cups, which represents moving along and leaving what doesn't work for me behind. I was of course asking about having hope for making friends and a partner in the future, and this gives me an idea of what I need to try. The most important thing I learned: it's not a no. There is still hope, and I'm going to do everything I can to move forward and just leave things that don't help me behind. I'm nearing the end of my rope here, and if things don't improve next year, I'm not sure how I'm going to end up dealing with life if I have any drive left to try anything at all. I've dealt with this rotten world long enough, hoping for someone to help change things, and no one has ever come to help me. It's time I leave behind that which won't help and look to what I want in the future. Consequences be damned. This year was full of terrible things for me. I'm going to seize the karma I deserve or die trying. Goodbye, 2023. May I forget everything you have brought to me for the past 365 days.